Today's lesson is called First Aid. Make sure it aids, not ails. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
And my name is Helen.
I believe if you want to become a doctor, you have to take something called the Hippocratic Oath, okay? And in that particular oath, you do say, okay, I'm going to help out anyone I can. I'm going to administer, treatment whenever I can to help those in need, to help the sick, and so on and so forth. But there's also the stipulation that when you do offer treatment, okay, you have to do no harm as well. So there you go. If you are going to administer something like first aid, make sure it actually helps. Make sure it actually aids and does no harm at the same time. Yes, here we're talking about first aid that aids and not ails.
Right. In other words, you want to know what you're doing when you're doing first aid. If you don't know what to do in a particular situation when somebody is sick or has had an accident or is injured, you don't want to do what you think might be okay because that could turn out to ail the person, to harm the person, and make them even worse than they are now. So anyone really should know the basic steps in first aid so that if anything happens, you might be able to save someone's life.
Anyways, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
First aid. Make sure it aids, not ails. First aid is essential in numerous emergencies and can save lives, but it can also cause harm if done improperly. Often, the first aid procedures that we hear about, or worse, see in movies, are incorrect. Therefore, it's important for people to learn at least the basic first aid procedures to use in different scenarios.
大家好，标题中我们看到单字 ail 这个字是动词，指使不适，使困扰。例如 Vanessa went to a specialist to find out what ailed her.Vanessa 找专科医生以找出是什么让她不舒服。接下来我们看到形容词 numerous 指许多的、众多的。例如 The swampland is home to numerous species of birds, frogs, and insects. 这处沼泽地是许多鸟类、蛙类和昆虫的栖息地。或是 The bakery sells numerous types of bread. 这间面包店贩卖许多种面包。再来我们看到一个单字 scenario这个字是名词，指可能发生的局面、情况、设想。举例来说 Emergency workers have to be ready for all sorts of different scenarios. 紧急应变人员必须准备好面对各种不同的情况。另外，补充一个相关片语 worst case scenario 表示最坏的情况。我们可以说 In the worst case scenario, the businessman is looking at 10 years in jail for fraud.最坏的情况是，这位商人会因诈骗遭囚刑10年。反之 ，best case scenario 就表示最好的情况。例如 ，Deborah could one day run the company in the best case scenario。最好的情况是 ，Deborah 有朝一日渴望经营这家公司。
And we're back, and today we're talking about first aid, and we want to make sure that it aids, not ails. And we'll jump right into the first paragraph, which says, First aid is essential in numerous emergencies and can save lives, but it can also cause harm if done improperly. So, first aid is essential. Here, the word essential means that something is absolutely necessary. It is absolutely needed. So, first aid is absolutely necessary in numerous emergencies, in many different emergencies, many different situations that involve an emergency.
There you go. When astronomers are searching the skies for planets like Earth, and they want to figure out whether or not that planet could have life on it, they always look for signs of water, because water is essential to life. Sure, there are some life forms that don't require water, but from what we know here on planet Earth, water is essential to life. Without water, we would be kaput, because yes, water is essential, critical, vital, very important, central. It cannot be done without. And yes, first aid is essential in many or numerous emergencies, and it can save lives. So there you go. Sometimes people are sick. Sometimes they're ailing. Who knows? Maybe there's a fire in your building one day and you need to save some lives or help save some lives. In those situations, you might administer first aid to save those lives. So in situations like that, first aid is essential. But should you always apply first aid? Should you apply first aid if there are professionals on the scene who can do it otherwise? Well, these are the type of things we should start thinking about. Yeah, if there is that fire in your building and the firemen arrive on the fire truck there, usually you should let them handle that particular situation. They are experts, but who knows? Maybe you are called on in a pinch and you perform some first aid. Because yes, first aid can save the day in many situations, but here's the catch. It can also cause harm, i.e. it can hurt people if you do it improperly. So there you go. Make sure it aids and not ails. By the way, ail would be a verb in this situation. A-I-ail. Okay, what's ailing you? But you can also call something that is ailing you, an illness, let's say, you can call that an ailment. A-I-L-M-E-N-T. So ail would be the verb. Ailment would be a noun. Now, moving on, the next sentence says, often the first aid procedures that we hear about, or worse, see in movies, are incorrect. Yeah, put this on your list there of things to never forget, okay? What you see in a movie is rarely true to life, okay? So just because you see The Rock performing CPR during a movie there, you probably shouldn't mimic him when you actually have to do CPR in real life.
Right. And unfortunately, often what we know about first aid, we've never taken a first aid course, is what we have seen in movies or TV shows or read in a book. And often these scenes are just a part of fiction. They're not real. And sometimes if you talk to a doctor or a nurse, they would say, no, don't do that. That's actually really bad. So that's why it's important for people to learn at least the basic first aid procedures to use in different scenarios. So you don't have just one first aid procedure because there are different scenarios or different situations in which a person might get hurt or might get injured. A lot of situations could happen, and these are scenarios. And you need to learn the correct first aid method to use in each scenario.
Yeah, this is kind of a tricky word to say and to spell, but the meaning, yes, it's very similar to that of a situation. When I think of a scenario, though, or a scenario, I think of like a scene in a movie. There's a situation that you can picture in your head or that you can see with different elements and features to it. Anyways, folks, let's go ahead and take a short break. But when we come back, we'll be talking about snake bites.
Snake bites. Perhaps the most disturbing first aid shown in movies is treating snake bites by cutting the skin and sucking out the venom. This looks dramatic, but it definitely won't work because venom begins circulating in blood in seconds. What's more, this procedure might just as quickly kill the person sucking it into their mouth. To slow the venom from spreading, have the victim remain calm and position their body so that the wound is below the level of the heart.
第二部分，我们看到动词 circulate 指循环、流通、使传播。例如 The house is a bit stuffy. We should open a window to let the air circulate. 房间有一点闷，我们应该开窗让空气流通。或是 Rumors began to circulate that the boss was about to shut down the factory. 谣言盛传，老板可能会关闭工厂。
And welcome back. So today we're talking about first aid, and we want to make sure that it aids, not ails. And we're also going to look at different scenarios of first aid usage. And the first scenario we're going to look at is snake bites. So that may not happen to a lot of people unless you're hiking in the mountains or going somewhere in Australia. But snake bites is a very dangerous situation. Now, perhaps the most disturbing first aid shown in movies is treating snake bites by cutting the skin and sucking out the venom. How many times have we seen that in a movie?
You take the knife and you cut like an X around the site of the wound, and then you suck the wound site, and apparently, the venom just comes out. It would never enter the bloodstream and start circulating around the body, making it impossible for you to suck it out like that. No, that would never happen because this is a movie. Remember, movies aren't true to life. Impossible things happen in movies all the time. So don't take them as your guide for how to live your life or how to do first aid. Anyways, though, yes, this is kind of disturbing. When I watch this in a movie, I go, ugh. It makes me upset slightly because, yes, it's off-putting, it's upsetting a little bit.
Right, and not even just in movies. Sometimes you might be watching the news and then the reporter will say, the scene that we're about to show you might be disturbing for some people. So it's a warning. They're saying, you might not feel comfortable watching this, so maybe you want to turn it off, or maybe you don't want to you just want to listen to what we're saying. You don't want to look at the actual videos. So disturbing is something that makes you feel uncomfortable and nervous. And here, the snake bite, sucking out the venom after a snake bite might look dramatic, but it definitely won't work because venom begins circulating in blood in seconds, as Jeff said. So this is not a good thing to do.
There you go. It definitely won't work, i.e., it's not going to work. There's no chance, okay? You're wasting your time further. Let's say you happen to start sucking a split second after the snake has removed its fangs from the wound. Let's say you do get some of that sweet, sweet venom in your mouth when you start sucking. You've got venom in your mouth now. You're going to make yourself sick, possibly. So don't do this. It's not going to work. It's definitely not going to work. Yeah, here, definitely. It's a strong word, okay? It means totally, 100%, absolutely. Don't do something. Okay, so this definitely won't work. I am definitely certain about this.
Right, because the first reason to not do it is because it won't work because the venom will start circulating in blood in seconds. And when something circulates, it moves around inside a system. So for instance, traffic can circulate around a bridge or around a highway system. And venom circulates in blood very, very quickly. And as Jeff mentioned, even if you do get the venom out, now you have it in your mouth. And that venom can kill you, the person who is trying to save another person, as quickly as it can kill the person who got bit in the first place.
So there you go. It won't work, and there's more. What's more, this procedure, this sucking procedure, might just as quickly kill the person sucking it into their mouth. So let's say you are lucky enough to get there in time and to save the day. You might not save the day at all. You might end up killing yourself in the process. So remember, first aid. Apply it well. Don't kill the person that you're trying to help, and don't kill yourself either. Anyways, to slow the venom from spreading, okay? Have the victim remain calm and position their body so that the wound is below the level of the heart, okay? That is important, and this is what you should do. I like how they say here that you should make sure that you keep the victim calm, okay? That goes for you too. Everyone needs to remain calm. So there you go. Do these things if someone gets a snake bite. Now, one other thing, make sure, okay, for the future, that you actually see the snake as well, and try to remember what you see as far as that snake is concerned. Later on, if you go to the hospital, okay, if they want to give medicine to that victim who has been snake bitten, if you can provide that information to the doctor, it's going to make things a whole lot easier when they're giving certain medicines to that person who has been snake bitten. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be talking about poison.
Poison. It's widely believed that when people ingest poison, they should drink milk or water. Another common misconception is to try to induce vomiting. However, poisons may react more when mixed with liquids, and vomiting can cause further injuries by exposing the throat and mouth to toxic substances. Every poison is different, so call your local hospital or call 119 for instructions.
第三部分，我们看到一个单字 ingest， 这个字是动词，意思是摄取。我们可以说 Ingesting information from so many media sources makes it difficult to process. 要消化来自那么多媒体来源的资讯是很难的。最后，我们看到名词 misconception， 意思是误解、错误的想法。字首 mis 表示错误的、不良的。举例来说 It's not easy for people to clear up common misconceptions about gender. 要消除人们对两性普遍的误解并不容易。另外，去掉这个字的字首 mis， 就成了反义词 conception， 指概念、观念、想法。像是 to have no conception of something， 就表示不明白某事物。我们可以说 Linda has no conception of how to cook. Linda 对料理一窍不通。
And welcome back. So we're going to move on to our second scenario, which is poison. And that is maybe a little bit more common than getting a snake bite because a lot of products that we have at home, common products that we use, might be poisonous if we eat it or drink it by accident. So it's widely believed that when people ingest poison, they should drink milk or water. And this may be something that we shouldn't do either.
I believe when I was growing up, we used to have those phones that were on the wall with a cord, and they had speed dial buttons on them. The speed dial button, that meant you'd have to press just a single button, and you would be directly connected to something like the police station, let's say, fire rescue, so on and so forth. The third button on our speed dial was a green button called poison control. Okay? When someone has consumed poison, don't think, oh, let's go to the fridge and grab some milk or some water. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. No. The right thing to do is to immediately call poison control. And there's more. We'll get to that soon, though. Anyways, to ingest something is to take that into your body, usually by way of the mouth.
Right. And another thing that you shouldn't do is try to induce vomiting. That is another common misconception. A misconception is a wrong belief or opinion. So there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding first aid, and this is one of them. A misconception for what to do when someone eats or drinks something that may be poisonous is to try to get them to vomit, to induce vomiting, to get them to throw up what they have swallowed. And here, to induce basically means to cause something to happen, especially a change in someone's mind or someone's body. So you can induce someone to fall asleep. Medicine, a pill could get someone to fall asleep and induce sleep.
And yes, if the doctor thinks that you should actually vomit, there's a medicine out there that does induce vomiting. I believe it's called syrup of ipecac or something like that. That will make you vomit. It will induce vomiting. So here, this is a misconception. This is a myth. This is a belief that people have that's just patently untrue, okay? No milk, no water, no vomiting. Call poison control. Anyways, however, it says next, poisons may react more when mixed with liquids, and vomiting can cause further injuries by exposing the throat and mouth to toxic substances. So you think you might be doing the right thing. Yeah, have some milk, some water. Oh, vomit. You might think that you're doing the right thing. Actually, when you're recommending doing these things to this person who has ingested poison, you might be doing them harm, okay? So call poison control. No milk, no water, no vomiting. Anyways, yeah, if you do actually drink something like water or milk, this might make the situation worse. Apparently, this poison might become more potent when it's mixed to other things. It may react more when mixed with liquids, let's say. Further, if you vomit, yes, all of that stuff that's in your stomach, even though it's bad, okay, that's going to have to move up through your body once again. So that's going to expose your throat and also your mouth to toxic substances, and that's not a good thing.
Right, and here to expose something is to put something in danger. And here, a substance that is toxic is a substance that is poisonous or that can cause harm. So, for instance, I could say the factory dumped toxic chemicals in the river.
And I'm glad you used the word chemical there, because even though, let's say, some poisons, you can call them toxic, you wouldn't call a poisonous snake or a venomous snake a toxic snake. No. Maybe the venom itself is toxic, but you wouldn't say that. Usually when people talk about toxic things, they're talking about the chemicals themselves. Anyways, the next sentence says, every poison is different, so call your local hospital or call 119 for instructions. And yes, if you call 119, there will be a specialist who deals with poison. They probably work for poison control. Okay, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a break, but don't go away. The Chinese teacher is waiting in the wings.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分是关于被蛇咬伤的急救方式。那最后一句他写到 To slow the venom from spreading, have the victim remain calm and position their body so that the wound is below the level of the heart. 为了减缓毒液扩散，让患者保持冷静，并且安置身体位置，好让这个伤口低于心脏高度。句子里面的 remain 它是当连缀动词来表达保持、维持，后面可以接名词、形容词等等。像我们说 remain calm 就是保持冷静。好，那么 have the victim remain 这边用到的句型是 have 加受词加受词补语。好， have 在这边它是当使役动词来表达要求、命令。那么受词补语我们可以用原形动词或者是过去分词。当受词和补语之间关系是主动的时候，我们的受词补语就是用原形动词。那么当被动的时候呢，受词补语就用过去分词。好，我们来看它的句型。 have 加受词加原形动词是用来表达命令或要求，那这常常是用来描述一次执行完成的动作啊，或者是那个动作在一定时间内完成。例如 She had her son mop the floor， 她叫她儿子拖地。第二个句型have 加受词加过去分词。好，这样的句型它的受词常常是事物，来表达说请人做某事，让人做某事。举例来说 I had my laptop repaired yesterday， 我昨天请人家帮我修理笔记型电脑。那么笔记型电脑它不会自己修理，它是要被修理的，所以受词 my laptop 后面是接过去分词 repaired 来当受词补语哦。好，另外还有一个句型是 have 加受词加现在分词 VING， 这样的句型是用来强调这个动作持续进行或是自然发生。例如 He turned on the electric fan and had it running all night， 他把电风扇打开，让它整晚都开着。好，那么接着看到课文第三部分有一个单字是 induce， 我们来学它的字首字根。首先 DUC 或是 DUCE 或是 DUCT 这一类的字根，它表示引导、带领或是牵引。那么带有这一些字根的单字呢，通常多半都有含有这种经过引导而产生某种结果的语义。那么在 induce 这个字当中，它的字首 IN 表示在什么什么之中， DUCE 表示引导。我们从字首字根表面意思来看，它有 lead into 或者是 bring in 的语义。那我们把某个事物它的影响力引进什么什么之中，可能就会引起某个后果嘛。那么用这样的方式，也许可以联想到 induce 它有引起、导致或是诱使的语义。好，顺便补充两个有这一类字根的单字哦。第一个reduce 我们知道它有减少的意思嘛。好，那来看它的字首 RE 表示往后向下， DUCE 表示引导。当我们把这个某事物它带往比较低、比较差的情况，也许你就可以联想到它有降低、减少、缩小的意思咯。好，那么第二个补充的是 deduce DEDUCE， 它的字首 DE 有向下或是完全的意思， DUCE 表示引出，当我们把某事物抽丝剥茧，往下一层一层剥开，把它逐步分析探究到底。好，那么这样应该可以联想到 deduce 它有演绎推论的意思。那么以上今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Essential. Early booking for this hotel is essential because it often sells out quickly. Numerous. Numerous complaints came from the neighbors that the music was too loud. Disturbing. The TV show contains some scenes that could be disturbing to some people. Definitely. Many of the small towns in this part of the country are definitely worth a visit. Circulate. The smells from our dinner cooking circulated throughout the house. Induce. The pills I was given helped induce sleep, and I ended up sleeping longer than 10 hours. Expose. Don't expose your skin to the sun without putting on sunscreen first. Toxic. Large amounts of toxic waste were dumped into the ocean.
Well, this is the end of our program. We hope you had a great time with us today. Hope you can join us again. From all of us here, I'm Helen.
I'm Jeff. See you next time.